Welcome to Activations with JJ. I'm your host, JJ Brighton. Join me each week as we co-create a space for healing, alignment, and expansion. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Activations with JJ. I'm so thrilled to have you here to co-create and just invite in an energy that is going to be helpful for us as we shift. If you haven't listened to the podcast before, I am JJ and I am a starseed linguist, an activation guide, and a wayshower. And I just love to connect with different energies that will assist us in all that we're trying to do on this planet, all the expansion that's going on. Oftentimes that looks kind of like a meditation, but if there's light language involved, I always feel like it's an activation. Definitely a way for the density that we now have to be amplified and to be raised, and our frequency to be increased. And so it becomes a really fun journey as you listen to the different podcast episodes. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, all of the different videos, it just becomes just this amazing work that has unfolded for me personally, even as a kind of almost feel like I'm a witness to it, because I really am just, again, a channel who is bringing forth these energies. So yeah, I mentioned that I did have a YouTube channel and a podcast. The YouTube channel, if you're not listening to this on the YouTube channel, does include other meditations and activations that are not on the podcast. So if you haven't gone to subscribe to the YouTube channel, I highly recommend you do so. It's also another way for you to interact with me. I know on a podcast, you really can't leave a comment. And so I would love for you to be able to comment on what any of the episodes have done for you. And it's just a lovely way for us to connect. Today, I will set the intention to bring forth the energy that came through at the beginning of this week on the energy update. And that was, in a nutshell, the ancient ones. And that's kind of the wording that I'm using for them. I believe they gave their name in a light language. And they may do that again, but it's just easier for me to refer to them as the ancient ones because they are the energy of the collective who were the first dwellers upon this earth. And again, I don't always know exactly what that means. Honestly, they did say they were before Atlantis, they were before Lemuria, and we know that those were very ancient civilizations that hundreds of thousands or even millions of years ago. I definitely feel like this particular energy is millions of years ago. Of course, scientists think they know how old the Earth is, and we know about the dinosaurs. They were before the dinosaurs, maybe. I feel like I could probably ask them. And at this very moment, I actually am feeling like they were a different density than the dinosaurs. So I really do feel like, and I've actually read this in different places, that at the beginning of the creation of this planet, there were different beings that could exist on a higher density. And oftentimes, even in Christian literature, we hear of the fall. And the fall for me would definitely be symbolic of the fact that the density of the planet was lowered. And I think what I'm tapping into is an energy of a collective or beings who did dwell on the planet in a higher density when it was first created. I think that's why when they come through, they refer to the fact that this is like a circle being completed, because we began at this density and we are going to go back to that density. We will return to the place where we started. And it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, they talk about closing the loop or the closing the circle off and becoming one round. And wow, it kind of blows my mind sometimes because I bring through these things and I try to prepare myself for the information, but sometimes I really have to sit and absorb it. So I will set that intention for you as well and for us here as we're working on this together, that our minds will be able to understand what we need to understand with regards to the information that they bring through. That all the different fibers of our being, all the different layers of who we are, body, mind, spirit, all the energetic bodies, and all the different levels will be open to this message. Because as you know, when you participate in something like this, it's not just a physical occurrence. There is an energetic transmission that takes place. And that's truly what I want to set the intention for, because when that happens, everything that we learn is amplified and enhanced. And of course, as usual, I also set the intention that this will be for our greatest and highest good. So, let's just sit for a moment in this feeling of being ready to receive, possibly taking some deep breaths. Again, when I bring through energies, I feel like it's almost in a meditative state that it is received the best. So I'll invite you to come into a very relaxed state and tune in with your spiritual or soul part of you. First and foremost, before you tune in with your physical ears. Many of you know that your third eye chakra is connected to your ears. And so really focusing on that third eye chakra, allowing it to open and expand and be activated. Indigo in color, located right between your eyes and above your nose. Allowing that part of your body to take the lead right now. As we invite in this beautiful energy of the ancient ones. Greetings to our dear children. We are so pleased to associate with you here at this time, in this place. We are so blessed by your presence and your influence on the planet. For as you know, there is truly no such thing as time. And just as we came before you, you came before us. And as we mentioned previously, you are our children, and we are yours. That is how the cycle works. So please, we ask you to sit with that knowledge, to sit in those roles as we begin to communicate and bring forth the messages that will lift the collective, that will fulfill the plans that were made, the blueprints that were laid out and agreed upon. And according to those blueprints, we offer an activation to be spread far and wide. With those of you who are listening as conduits, and doorways to this information. Even subconsciously, as you interact with those around you, you will be transmitting information if you so desire. So we invite you to set that intention, for this is a planet of free will. And you have sovereignty to decide the role that you would like to play. But we will tell you, you were trained and prepared for this role and for this time. Many of you sense this. Many of you have chosen throughout your life, however, to wander, to experience different vibrations. And we say this without judgment. We do not refer to wander as if lost. It was a very intentional wandering, an exploration of different vibrations. Again, we point this out to you just to allow you to be in a mode of observation about your life rather than a mode of judgment. We would like to reiterate the point that every single thing you have experienced that to human judgment may seem bad or good simply is. And simply is experience. And simply is expansion. For just as the being from which you have come, you have a desire to expand and experience. Just as Source had a desire to expand and experience when it began to unfold itself in the universe. We ask you now to focus on your connection to Source. To focus on your heritage and your divine inheritance. To focus on that from which you came and from whence you came. And begin to see the thread that connects you and connects all of us to Source. We are one. We further wish to provide for you instruction and counsel regarding this time segment in which you find yourselves. And also knowing that time will begin to feel more fluid and less definite to you. Many of you have experienced this during the time of the pandemic and the lockdown. Time began to get loose. You are stepping into an era when things will no longer run on time. They will run on energy. Schedules will be based on energy, not time. We invite you to direct your life in that way now, rather than worrying so much about a specific time, pay attention to the energy and adapt accordingly or act accordingly. We know this is somewhat difficult for you to grasp, but it is a situation and a circumstance that cannot be denied. Even those in the corporate world, professionals as you call them, will begin to notice a loosening up of their circumstances. Will begin to notice the flexibility, the fluidity. It's a beautiful thing to live in flow, to live with sovereignty, and to live connected. For as you live in flow, you will invite others to do the same energetically and subconsciously. And the collective will begin to swell in this motion and movement of flow. They will begin to live intuitively and for their greatest and highest good. And the expansion will occur on a very large scale. Just as a flower blossoming, the petals are separate, the flower is one. And as the petals on the outside begin to expand, those on the inside will follow. You who are listening are the outside petals. And as you open, you will invite others to do the same. We invite you to take time to live in flow, to imagine what that will be like, to create it in your mind before you create it physically, to spend the time manifesting spiritually what will then follow in the physical realm. That is the key to creation. That is the key to you living the life, not only that you desire, but the life that you are called to live, the blueprint which you designed for your existence on this planet. We invite you to drop into your intuition more frequently so that you may experience the lovely feeling of being in flow. We invite you to rest more frequently and to define yourself not by what you do, but by who you are. To focus on being rather than doing. We honor you. We hold you in reverence. And we commend you. Thank you for receiving this transmission, we look forward to further connecting with you. Please seek us out. Farewell. Thank you so much for joining me for that beautiful, beautiful message. I am definitely in a very relaxed state. But I am extremely grateful for this space that we created today. Again, thank you so much. The divinity within me truly honors the divinity within you. Namaste.